Is it Putin's war, or is it Russia's war? For Ukrainians, the answer is obvious. Without any doubt, the responsibility lies with every Russian. But why do they think so? We summarize the Washington Post article that helps to uncover the answer. Its author, journalist David Ignatius, met with locals in Kiev and tried to understand this complex issue. Through Ukrainian eyes, this terrible war has become a clash of civilizations. They argue that most Russians support the war in the way that most Germans supported Adolf Hitler. And this war cannot be stopped through negotiations unless Russia abandons its imperial dreams. Ukrainians, from senior leaders to ordinary citizens, are convinced that Putin's Russia must be vanquished, not just Putin himself. We feel that Russia and Russians are responsible for all of it. Olga Datsuk, a TV producer, said in the interview with Mr. Ignatius. It's not Putin, it's Russia, a foreign policy analyst Sergei Gerasimchuk echoed. There is a chance for reconciliation, but not in my lifetime, he said. The Ukrainian narrative centers on the diverging path that two countries took after the collapse of the Soviet Union. Ukrainians turned west, toward the European Union. Russia flirted with the West at first, but eventually welcomed the so-called strong hand of Putin. In fact, Russia never had a post-communist house cleaning. In the Ukrainian view, that's the root of the current catastrophe. Russians somehow are afraid of democracy. This is what Ukrainians will never understand, Olga Datsuk said. They choose a safe space and warm food instead of freedom. Ukraine's pro-Western democracy threatened Putin, and he has worked relentlessly, obsessively, to crush it. His war against Ukraine began in 2014 and culminated in this year's scorched earth invasion. But how will this clash of civilizations end? In the West, people try to imagine a negotiated peace. Putin might withdraw its troops from Ukraine, or mediators might devise a formula to defer the final resolution of the status of the occupied territories, or the Russian army might rebel against the Kremlin's dictates, or Putin might be replaced by a successor who is unable or unwilling to continue the war. Ukrainians, who were met by the author of the article in Kiev, unanimously rejected any interim settlement. They want Ukraine to win back all of its territory and Russia to lose decisively. Mr. Ignatius agrees that there will be growing risk for the West if the war continues to escalate. And the Western world can't escape the dangers entirely. But indeed, this is a war worth winning, not opposing. The ideology that Putin represents and that many Russians embrace must be defeated.